The deep void of space was silent, like an endless ocean without waves. Stars burned far away, cold and untouchable. Between those distant lights, a ship drifted forward slow, massive, and unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. It was not built by any of the great empires. It was not forged by the ancient races that ruled in shadows. It came from a small, forgotten planet on the edge of the spiral arm, a planet called Earth. The ship was named Indomitable. Its dark armor caught the starlight and swallowed it whole. No banners flew, no songs played. Only the steady hum of human engineering filled its corridors. For those inside, this was the first step into the galaxy. For those outside, watching from hidden stations and listening posts, it was the first warning that something new had arrived. The galaxy was not at peace. Empires fought silent wars through proxies and shadows. Alliances shifted like sand under water. But all had one thing in common. None feared humanity. Why would they? Humanity was small, isolated, late to the stars. Their worlds were fragile, their technology crude compared to the ancient powers. No one expected them to matter. Yet when Indomitable crossed the border into neutral space, the galaxy noticed. The first to see them were the Yaldrin, traitors, spies, and whisperers. They sat hidden in their cloaked station near the Black Veil Nebula. Their long insect bodies trembled as they watched the human warship pass. It was too large for a newborn race. Its weapons were silent but carried a design of purpose. It looked like a blade, forged not for show but for killing. One Yaldrin officer spoke in a dry whisper. This is not right. Their world was at level 2. No race at level 2 builds a ship like that. Another hissed back. Then who built it for them? Who guides them? No one rises so fast. But deep inside, both knew the answer. Humanity had built it themselves. The station sent its first report. Across the void, messages moved faster than light. Within hours, the high councils of 3 empires had heard the same whisper. A human warship was moving where it should not. Inside the Indomitable, Captain Elena Ramirez stood at the command deck. Her eyes were sharp, her voice calm. She had grown up under the endless sky of Earth, dreaming of stars.
Now she stood among her,
carrying humanity's first true weapon into the unknown. "Status?" she asked. "All systems stable, Captain," her second replied. "Engines steady. No threats detected." Elena nodded, but she did not relax. She knew they were being watched. The galaxy was old, but not blind. In the quiet of the command deck, she whispered to herself, "Let them see us. Let them know we are here." The crew did not hear her words. They worked, focused, and disciplined. Every man and woman aboard knew what this mission meant. It was not just exploration, it was a message. Humanity was no longer a child. Hours passed in silence. Then, on the edge of sensors, something moved. A ship, small, fast, cloaked in shadows. It followed like a predator testing prey. The crew watched the blip on their screens. No one spoke. Finally, the intruder sent a signal. It was not a greeting. It was a demand. "Unknown vessel. Identify yourself. State your origin. State your purpose." The voice was cold, alien, filled with a sharp echo like broken glass. The crew looked to Captain Elena. She stood tall, her eyes locked on the screen. Then she spoke, calm but firm. "This is the human warship Indomitable. We come from Earth, and our purpose is to remind the galaxy that we are not weak." The silence that followed was heavier than steel. The alien ship did not answer. Only turned, retreating into the dark. But already, the message had spread. Across star systems, leaders and warlords, emperors and councils, all paused. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy felt a new kind of fear. Not because of numbers, not because of empires, but because humanity, unknown and underestimated, had built a ship that should not exist. In the endless dark, whispers grew into storms. The humans have risen. They are not supposed to have this power. We'll stop them before it is too late. And on the bridge of the Indomitable, Captain Alina watched the stars with calm determination. You're sure? She knew the galaxy was listening. She knew war would come. But she also knew one truth that echoed through her bones. Humanity had been underestimated for the last time. The galaxy would learn. The galaxy would remember. And in the silence of space, the first contact with humanity's warship had already begun to change everything. The message of the human warship spread like fire through dry grass. Across the stars, empires listened, argued, and prepared. Some laughed at the thought of a young species daring to build a warship. Others whispered of danger. But one empire did not laugh. The Crevellan Dominion was vast and cruel. Their fleets stretched across hundreds of worlds. Their soldiers had burned planets to ash for less than a whisper of defiance. To them, humans were insects crawling out of a hole, and insects needed to be crushed. In the war chambers of the Dominion, a council gathered. Towering reptilian figures, their scales shining like metal under the firelight, leaned over a holographic map of the stars. A general hissed, his voice heavy with arrogance. The humans send a single ship into our space. One ship, they believe. Themselves strong, they must be reminded who rules the galaxy. The Crevellan leader, High Warlord Draxon, narrowed his golden eyes. Do not underestimate too quickly. The reports say their vessel is unusual. It carries weapons beyond their level. The general spat. Reports from traitors and spies. Lies meant to frighten children. One ship cannot challenge us. Draxon did not argue. Instead, he raised one clawed hand pointing at the star chart. Then prove it. Send a hunter fleet. Test their strength. If they are nothing, we crush them. If they resist, then we will know what we face. The council bowed, eager for blood. Orders were sent. Across the Dominion, ships awoke from their docks, engines roaring like beasts. A small, fleet-fast, armed, and merciless set course for the unknown humans, far away. Aboard the Indomitable, Captain Alina Ramirez stood silent as the sensors picked up movement. Not one, not two, but many ships. The screen filled with red markers. The crew exchanged nervous looks. A young officer whispered, "Captain, that's a fleet, not pirates, not scouts." Military. Elena's jaw tightened. She had expected this. The galaxy would test them. Someone always had to be first. She turned to her crew and spoke with steady calm. Remember this. We are not here to run. We are here to stand. The galaxy is watching. The tension was thick. Fingers hovered over controls. The sound of engines hummed deep through the ship. When the Crevellan fleet arrived, they did not hide. 10 warships surrounded the Indomitable, their dark hulls glowing with energy weapons. A voice came over the comms, harsh and cruel. "Human vessel. You stand in the territory of the Crevellan Dominion. Power down. Surrender your ship. You are trespassers and will be destroyed." The crew waited for their captain. Lena did not flinch. She opened the channel. Her voice was calm, but every word struck like steel. "This is the human warship Indomitable. You do not surrender. If you fire on us, you will learn what humanity has built."
Ow!
The alien commander laughed, a sound like breaking stone. "You dare threaten the Dominion with one ship? You are children playing with knives. It's very well. We will show you mercy. When your ship burns, your world will know its place." The channel closed. The Crevellan fleet moved into attack formation. Weapons glowed, charging with deadly power. The Indomitable alarms rang. Shields powered up. Guns came alive, humming with energy. The crew worked with silent discipline, fear mixing with determination. Alina stood in the center of it all, her eyes fixed on the screen. Weapons free. Target the lead ship. Fire when ready. The first shots lit the void. The Crevellans fired with fury, beams of energy crashing against the human shields. The Indomitable shuddered, but it held. Then came the human reply. From the dark hull of the Indomitable, cannons unleashed a storm. The blast tore through the silence like thunder. The first Crevellan ship erupted in flame, breaking apart in seconds. The crew stared, shocked but proud. One shot, one kill. The Crevellan fleet hesitated. They had expected weakness. They had expected surrender. But what stood before them was something else entirely. "Reload," Alina ordered. Her voice was steady. Her eyes burned. "Show them what humanity is." The next salvo roared into the fleet. Another ship shattered. And another. Panic spread among the Crevellans. Their commanders screamed orders, but fear spread faster than command. For the first time in centuries, the Dominion faced prey that fought like predators. One by one, the Crevellan warships fell back, broken and burning. The survivors fled into the void, their arrogance shattered. On the indomitable silence returned. The crew sat in stunned disbelief. They had done the impossible. Alina spoke softly, almost to herself. "They thought we were weak. They thought wrong." But she knew the truth. This was only the beginning. The galaxy would not stay silent. The Crevellan Dominion would return, stronger, angrier, and other empires would come as well. The test was over. Humanity had passed. And somewhere, across the stars, fear was spreading. The destruction of the Crevellan fleet spread across the stars faster than any weapon. In a galaxy where empires measured power by fleets, armies, and centuries of rule, the news was unbelievable. One human ship, one newborn species, had stood against the Dominion and won. At first, no one believed it. Rumors were dismissed as lies. Traders whispered in hidden markets. Spies reported half-truths. But when the surviving Crevellan ships limped home, broken and burning, the truth could no longer be denied. The galaxy listened, and the galaxy trembled. In the council halls of the Serati Union, a race of winged philosophers and merchants, leaders argued over every detail. Their voices echoed in the chamber, sharp and desperate. "It cannot be true." One counselor shouted, his feathers ruffled in fear. "Humans are level 2. They are children. How can they build such weapons?" Another whispered, "Children grow. Children bite when cornered. Perhaps we have ignored them too long." Across the galaxy, the Cathari hives hummed with nervous energy. Millions of insect minds linked in one thought. The hive spoke as one. Danger rises. New predator enters. The field. Adaptation required. Even the ancient Vare collective, silent for 1,000 years, stirred. Their ships, older than human history, shifted quietly in forgotten systems. They remembered something the others had forgotten. Races rise quickly, and the young are always dangerous. But while some feared, others plotted. On a cold, dark world, hidden deep within a nebula, a council of shadows met. Assassins, spies, and information brokers gathered, each voice carried through cloak transmitters. They were the Whisper Syndicate, masters of secrets. And the humans had become the biggest. Secret of all, one masked figure spoke, voice sharp as a blade. "The Dominion was humiliated. Crevellans will return, stronger, but while they fight, we profit. Humanity's ship, this indomitable, must be studied, stolen if possible." At another hissed and replied, "Dangerous. Approach them directly, and you risk destruction. Then we approach indirectly. We send offers of peace, trade, alliance. We feed them lies. And while they trust, we take what we need." Plans were set in motion. Ships turned, spies moved, whispers spread. The galaxy was shifting around a single, unexpected center Earth. Aboard the Indomitable, Captain Alina Ramirez knew nothing of the secret councils. She only knew what her crew had seen. A powerful empire tested them, and they had survived. Yet survival brought no peace. She stood on the bridge, staring at the star map. Red markers appeared one by one, fleets moving, borders shifting, eyes turning toward humanity. "Captain," her second-in-command said quietly, "we've picked up dozens of signals. Observation drones. Cloaked ships. We're being watched from every direction." Alina nodded, her face calm though her mind burned. "Good. Let them watch. Let them see what happens when humanity is challenged." The crew felt her confidence. But they also felt the weight. They were no longer explorers. Were no longer alone. Every move they made would shape the galaxy's judgment. That night, as most of the crew rested, Alina stood alone in her quarters. The hum of the engines was steady, but her thoughts were not. She thought of earth-blue oceans, green forests, cities glowing under the night sky. Her people had no idea what storm was coming. For centuries, humanity had looked up at the stars and dreamed. Now the stars were looking back, and many of them dreamed of conquest. Her door chimed. The ship's science officer entered, holding a data pad. His hand shook slightly. "Captain, you need to see this. We intercepted a transmission. Not Dominion, not military, something else." Alina took the pad. The message was short, but its meaning was heavy to the humans of Earth. "You have been noticed. The galaxy does not forgive strength in the young. Choose your allies carefully. You will stand alone." There was no signature, no origin, just the warning. Alina closed her eyes for a moment, then handed the pad back. "We were never going to be ignored. Now the game begins." The next morning, the crew gathered in the war room. Alina stood before them, her voice steady and strong. "The Crevellans will return. Others will come, pretending to be friends. Some will offer trade. Some will offer peace. But remember this. Every eye in the galaxy sees us now. And not all. Eyes are kind." Her gaze swept across the room. Every face was tense, but every heart was strong. "We are humanity's first line. We will not bend. We will not break. The galaxy wants to test us, and let them." Her final words echoed like iron. "They will learn who we are." Outside, the stars burned silently. Empires plotted. Spies whispered. Armies moved, and the galaxy waited, holding its breath. The galaxy no longer looked at humans with indifference. Now it watched with sharp eyes, waiting to see what they would do. The destruction of the Crevellan fleet had proven humanity was not weak, but strength was also dangerous. Strength invited attention. Strength invited lies. It was not long before the first hand reached out. The message came through encrypted channels, carrying soft tones and polite words. It came from the Sarati Union, a powerful race of winged beings who ruled trade across hundreds of systems. "Honored humans," the voice said, smooth and calm. "We admire your courage. We watched as you faced the Dominion. Many would have fallen, yet you endured. We offer friendship, alliance, and trade. The galaxy can be cruel. Stand with us, and you will not stand alone." On the Indomitable, the crew listened in silence. The voice was beautiful, but behind beauty was something else to smooth. Her eyes narrowed as the voice continued. "The Union will share technology. We will help your world grow. All we ask is access to your ship's designs so that we may protect you more effectively." The crew exchanged glances. Everyone heard the trap hidden inside the words. Trade and technology were bait. But what they wanted in return was the soul of the Indomitable. The science officer whispered. "Captain, if they get our designs, they'll copy everything. Our advantage will be gone." Alina said nothing at first. She let the message finish, every polite phrase cutting sharper than a knife. Finally, she spoke. "Open a channel." The alien voice paused as Elena's face appeared on their screens. Her voice was calm, but her eyes carried steel. "We thank you for your interest," she began. "But humanity's strength is its own. Our ship is not for sale. Our people are not for trade. If you truly wish for peace, then you will respect that." The alien representative tilted his head. His feathers shimmered under soft light. He smiled, though it never reached his eyes. "Captain, you misunderstand. We only wish to help. The galaxy is dangerous. Alone, you will be torn apart." Elena's tone did not change. "Then let the galaxy try." The channel cut. Silence filled the bridge. The crew looked at their captain with awe, but outside, in hidden chambers of the Union, the Sarati leaders did not smile. Their wings twitched with anger. "They refuse," one hissed. "They are arrogant, children playing at power." Other narrowed his glowing eyes. "Then they must be handled carefully. If they will not give us their designs, we will take them another way." Already plans were forming. Spies would be sent. Sabotage would follow. If humanity would not give freely, then the Serati Union would steal. Back aboard the Indomitable, Lena knew this was only the beginning. She stood at the wide windows of the command deck, staring at the stars. Her second-in-command stepped beside her. "Captain, you think they'll come again?" Alina nodded. "Yes, but not with open words. Next time it will be shadows. Assassins, spies. They will not stop until they believe they have what they want." The officer was silent for a moment, then said softly, "And what if we're not ready?" Alina turned her gaze on him. Her voice was steady, unshaken. "Then we learn, faster than them, harder than them. Humanity has always survived the impossible. This will be no different." That night, the crew gathered in the mess hall. Conversations were quiet, but the message was clear. For the first time, humanity had been offered a seat at the Galactic table, and for the first time, they had refused. Some felt pride. Some felt fear. But all knew the truth. They were walking a path with no way back. Far away in the hidden shadows of space, a Serati infiltration ship began its journey. Its mission was simple: reach the humans, slip inside their warship, steal the secrets that terrified the galaxy. The galaxy's first friendly hand had been offered, but in its palm it carried poison, and as the stars turned, the Indomitable sailed forward, unaware of the shadows already chasing its light. The stars outside burned cold and silent, but inside the Indomitable, the air was tense. Captain Alina Ramirez had refused the Serati Union's offer of friendship, and though the crew had cheered her decision, she knew better. A refusal that strong would not be forgotten. The Serati would come again, but not with smiles and words. They would come with shadows, and shadows had already arrived. No one noticed at first. The Indomitable carried supplies from a neutral station, crates, loaded by unseen hands, among them hidden inside the cold metal walls. A Serati device pulsed faintly. It was no larger than a fist, but its purpose was clear. Sabotage. Hours later, as the ship glided through empty space, the first signs appeared. Lights flickered on Deck 3. Engines hummed unevenly. Doors opened and closed on their own. The crew thought it was a glitch, but Captain Alina did not believe in accidents. "Run a full systems check," she ordered, her voice sharp. The engineering officer frowned. "Captain, this doesn't look like a malfunction. Something's interfering with our core systems." Eyes narrowed. She had been right. Shadows had come. As engineers searched the ship, another threat moved quietly among the crew. A Serati agent, disguised in a stolen human exosuit, walked the corridors unseen. Its slender body was wrapped in false skin, its wings folded beneath armor. To human eyes, it looked like just another crewman. The agent carried a mission plant, a beacon, steal data, and, if possible, destroy the Indomitable from within. In the mess hall, two crew members spoke softly over their meal. "Feels strange, doesn't it?" One said, "Like someone's watching us." The other nodded. "I thought it was just me, but I don't recognize everyone anymore." "Did we take on more crew?" They laughed nervously, but the thought lingered. Paranoia spread like fire. By midnight cycle, the sabotage grew worse. Gravity fluctuated. Communications went dark. A single alarm screamed through the ship. "Unauthorized system access detected." Alina rushed to the bridge. Her crew scrambled, voices sharp with urgency. "Captain, someone's inside our systems." Her blood turned cold. "Not someone," she muttered. "The Serati." She activated the ship-wide channel. Her voice was clear, steady, iron in the storm. "All crew, listen carefully. We are under infiltration. Trust no one without verification. Search every deck. Secure engineering. Humanity's strength is discipline. Remember that?" The crew obeyed. Groups formed, checking IDs, scanning corridors, locking down sensitive areas. On Deck 5, a small team found something strange. A crewman they didn't recognize, standing too still in the shadows. "Identify yourself," one officer demanded. The figure turned slowly. Its human face flickered, glitching like a broken screen. Then with a hiss, the false skin peeled away. Wings unfolded. Claws extended. The Serati agent struck. The corridor erupted into chaos. The alien moved fast, too fast, slashing with claws and wings. A crewman fell, blood marking the floor. But the humans fought with raw determination. Blades, rifles, bare, fists, whatever they had. They used. The fight spilled through the corridor until a rifle blast tore through the alien's chest. It collapsed, hissing in a language none understood. Its final act was a bitter laugh, as if death itself was victory. But, even as its body grew cold, alarms screamed louder. The device it carried had activated, feeding data into the void, sending the Indomitable's secrets into the galaxy. Elena's voice thundered through the ship. Find the source. Shut it down. In engineering, sparks flew as the sabotage device pulsed brighter. The engineers worked frantically, but the signal spread faster than they could stop it. Just before it could complete the transfer, one officer ripped it from the console and smashed it against the deck. The lights flared, then went dark. Silence, the crew held their breath. Slowly, systems flickered back to life. Engines steadied. Lights returned. Communications cleared. The Indomitable had survived. But the crew knew the truth. The Serati had seen inside their walls. Some secrets had been stolen. The galaxy now had a taste of human technology. On the bridge, Alina stood in silence, her fists tight at her sides. Her crew waited for her words. Finally, she spoke. They wanted our secrets. They wanted to break us from within. They failed, but they will try again. Her eyes scanned the room, every face lit by the dim glow of the stars. They think shadows can frighten us. They think spies can weaken us. They are wrong. Humanity does not bend to whispers in the dark. We face them, and we endure. The crew stood taller, their fear replaced with fire. The message was clear. Humanity would not fall to shadows. But, far away, in the halls of the Serati Union, leaders smiled coldly. They fight well, one said. Too well, but their secrets are ours now. And soon, the galaxy will not fear them. It will prepare for them. The War of Whispers had begun. The galaxy had been whispering for weeks. Rumors of sabotage, whispers of spies, fear of a ship that should not exist. But while others whispered, the Crevellan Dominion roared. The humiliation of their first defeat burned like fire. To lose even one ship to humans was shameful. To lose an entire fleet was unforgivable. High Warlord Draxon stood inside his war chamber, claws curling against cold metal. His voice was sharp as he spoke to his generals. The galaxy laughs at us. They call us weak because of humans. Humans. That insult ends now. Gather the war fleet. Burn them from the stars. And so it began. From dozens of Crevellan worlds, ships rose. Destroyers, cruisers, dreadnoughts, and armada, unlike anything humanity had seen before. A storm of steel and fire, thousands of weapons aimed at one target, the human warship Indomitable. The galaxy watched. Some waited with dread, others with hunger. They wanted to see the humans crushed. They wanted to see if the impossible victory had only been luck. On the Indomitable, alarms rang as the fleet appeared on sensors. Red lights filled the bridge. The crew stared at the screens in silence. Captain? The officer whispered, his voice unsteady. There are hundreds of them. Captain Alina Ramirez stood tall, her face calm though her heart pounded like thunder. She had expected this. She had known the Crevellans would not stop until humanity was broken. Her voice was steady as she spoke. Then let the galaxy see who we are. We will not run. The crew straightened. Fear was there, yes, but so was fire. The first Crevellan. Broadcast came, filled with cruelty. Humans. Your little victory is over. Today you die. Your ship will burn. Your world will kneel. Elena's reply was simple. We do not kneel. The channel cut. The battle began. The Crevellan fleet moved like a storm. Ships covering the stars, weapons glowing like suns. Their first barrage lit the void. hundreds of beams and missiles slamming against the Indomitable's shields. The ship shook violently, but it held. "Shields at 60%, the officer shouted. "Return fire," Alina ordered. The Indomitable roared. Its cannons fired in thunderous unison. Massive lances of energy cut through the dark, tearing apart 3 enemy ships at once. Explosions lit space like dying stars. The crew cheered, but the storm did not stop. The Crevellan fleet pressed harder, circling, striking from every side. On the bridge, sweat-covered brows, voices shouted orders, alarms screamed. "They're trying to overwhelm us," the tactical officer cried. Elena's eyes narrowed. Voice cut through the chaos like a blade. "Then we show them what human design can do. Redirect power? Focus fire? Break their formation?" The ship turned sharply, engines screaming as the Indomitable charged forward. It did not retreat. It did not hide. It drove straight into the heart of the enemy fleet. The Crevellans were not. Ready, the human warship unleashed everything. Torpedoes streaked through the dark, exploding into enemy hulls. Cannons carved lines of destruction. In minutes, dozens of Crevellan ships became wreckage, drifting and burning. Still they kept coming. Hundreds more closed in, their numbers endless. On Earth, leaders watched the live feed with frozen faces. Humanity had never seen a battle like this. They had never seen their people face an empire. The world held its breath. Back in the war chamber of the Sarada Union, feathers trembled. One counselor whispered, "This is no ordinary ship. This is something more. If they survive this, the galaxy changes forever." The galaxy continued to watch. The battle raged on for hours. The Indomitable was battered, shields flickering, armor scorched. Fires burned in the lower decks. Crewmen bled, fought, and held their stations with unyielding strength. In the chaos, Captain Alina stood like iron. "Status," she demanded. "Shields at 20%, weapons at 50%, engines unstable." Her jaw tightened. "We hold." The ship turned again, slicing through the heart of the Crevellan fleet. Enemy fire rained down, but the Indomitable answered with fury. Another dreadnought exploded. Another cruiser fell. The galaxy had expected humans to die. Instead, they were. Watching humans carve through an empire's pride. At last, after endless hours, the Crevellan fleet began to break. Their ships scattered, their formations collapsed. The survivors fled into the void, leaving behind fields of fire and wreckage. The Indomitable floated among the ruins. Scarred and smoking but alive. On the bridge, silence fell. The crew stared at the stars, stunned, exhausted, but victorious. Alina spoke softly, her voice steady even in the silence. "Today, we showed the galaxy that humanity does not break. Today, we proved we are not prey. Remember this moment. The galaxy will never forget it." Far away in his war chamber, High Warlord Draxon smashed his claws against the table, his roar echoing through the halls. "Impossible. One ship cannot destroy a fleet." But one ship had, and the galaxy knew it. The battlefield was quiet now, filled only with the drifting ruins of Crevellan warships. Smoke and fire floated in silence, the wreckage glowing faintly. Under distant starlight, among the broken fleet, the Indomitable moved slowly, its armor scarred, its shields barely holding, but still alive. Humanity had survived what no one believed possible. The galaxy trembled. Across hundreds of worlds, the news spread. The Crevellan Dominion, one of the oldest, strongest powers in the Spiral Arm, had sent a fleet to crush humanity. Instead, they had been broken. The whispers became roars. The laughter that had mocked humans before was gone, placed by fear. In the chambers of the Sarada Union, voices rose like a storm. Feathers flared, wings rustled, arguments filled the air. "This cannot stand," one counselor shouted. "If humanity can defeat a Dominion fleet, what will stop them tomorrow?" Another spread his wings in warning. "Then we must ally with them. Better to have them as friends than enemies." "If the Crevellans fall, who will rise next?" humanity. Maybe the shield we need, a third hissed bitterly, or the blade at our throats. Their arguments burned through the night. The Union could not agree. Half wanted alliance, half wanted destruction. In the hives of the Kethari, the insect minds buzzed together as one. Their decision was colder. Observe. Wait. Adapt. If humanity rises, we rise with them. If they fall, we feast on the remains. But in the Dominion, rage boiled like fire. High Warlord Draxon roared in his throne room, his golden eyes burning. They shame us again. The galaxy thinks us weak. Humans must burn, no matter the cost. His generals bowed, though fear lingered in their hearts. They had seen what one ship could do. To fight more of them could mean disaster. Still, orders were orders. Plans for another war began, far away in the shadowed halls of the Whisper Syndicate. Spies whispered like snakes. The galaxy shakes. Everyone chooses sides, but we will not choose. We will sell. To the humans, to the Dominion, to all who pay. They smiled in the darkness. War always brought profit aboard the Indomitable. Captain Alina Ramirez knew none of the council debates, none of the whispered betrayals. But she knew the truth in her bones. The galaxy was shifting. She felt it in every silence, every coded message, every shadow on the sensors. Her ship was damaged, her crew exhausted, but there was no time for rest. Already, transmissions were arriving. The first came from the Serati Union. Captain Ramirez. The voice said smoothly, "We admire your strength. The Union would like to offer you alliance, trade, and protection. Together, we can stand against the Dominion." The words sounded sweet, but Elena's eyes narrowed. She remembered the Serati spies, their sabotage. Protection was not their gift. It was their trap. The next transmission came from a smaller faction, the Tarlan Republic. Their voice was desperate. "Human captain, hear us. We're not strong like you. We're small, forgotten, crushed between empires. But if you stand with us, we will stand with you. Together, we can survive." Their offer was weak, but honest. One by one, more offers came. Some sweet, some bitter, some filled with hidden knives. The galaxy no longer ignored humanity. Now, everyone wanted them either as a shield or as a target. On the bridge, the crew looked at their captain, waiting for her choice. Alina stood silent for a long moment. Finally, she spoke. "We will not bend to false promises. Will not sell our strength for scraps. Humanity will choose allies carefully. But hear me," she turned, her eyes hard as steel. "We will never kneel. Not to the Serati, not to the Dominion, to anyone." Her crew straightened, pride burning in their eyes. But deep inside, Alina knew the danger. Every alliance offered was also a trap. Every enemy defeated created 10 more in the shadows. The galaxy had turned its full attention on humanity. On Earth, leaders argued endlessly. Some wanted peace, others wanted war, and many wanted to hide. But hiding was no longer an option. Humanity had been noticed, far beyond Earth, in a hidden council of ancient races. Old voices whispered, "The humans rise too quickly. Their ship is proof of something greater. Left unchecked, they could rival even us." Another voice, cold and ancient, replied, "Then we must decide. Do we destroy them now while they are young, or do we prepare for the day when humanity takes its place among the stars as a power no one can stop?" The chamber fell silent. The decision would shape the galaxy, and aboard the Indomitable, Alina Ramirez stood at the window, watching the stars. She felt the weight of destiny pressing against her shoulders. Humanity had won battles, but the war had only begun. The galaxy would either embrace them or fear them enough to try and erase them. And soon, humanity would have to decide which side of the stars they truly belonged to. The stars above Earth glowed bright, but the people below felt no peace. The world had seen the battles. They had watched the Indomitable destroy fleets that should have been impossible to defeat. Pride filled their hearts, but fear walked beside it. Because victory had made them visible, and the galaxy had decided. Humanity was too dangerous to live. The decision came in secret councils, whispered in chambers of power. Enemies who had once hated each other now stood side by side, united by fear. The Serati Union, the Crevellan Dominion, even the cold insect hives of the Kethari, they all agreed. Humanity must be destroyed before it rose any higher. A fleet was gathered. Not dozens, not hundreds, thousands. An armada the size of which the stars had not seen in centuries. The galaxy was coming for Earth, aboard the Indomitable. Captain Alina Ramirez stared at the incoming reports. The fleet was so large it filled the screens with red markers, a tide of fire rolling toward her homeworld. Her crew stood in silence, waiting for her voice. She spoke slowly, every word heavy with meaning. They think we are weak. They think we are alone. They think fear will make us bow. They are wrong. Humanity has always been strongest when the world was against us. And today, the galaxy will learn that truth. The crew roared in reply. The Indomitable moved forward, placing itself between Earth and the approaching armada. Alone, scarred from past battles, shields patched, weapons tired, but still standing, the first transmissions came. Voices from a dozen races, cold and final. Humans, surrender your ship. Submit your world. You've risen too fast. For the safety of all, your species must be contained. Lena's reply was iron. We do not surrender. We do not kneel. If you come for Earth, you will face us. The armada advanced. The sky filled with light as weapons powered up, and then something happened the galaxy had not expected. More ships appeared, but not enemy ones. Small, scattered fleets emerged from hyperspace, flying under strange banners. The Tarlon Republic. Free colonies that had long suffered under empires. Independent traders who had once been prey. They had come, answering humanity's call. There. Ships were weak, fragile compared to the Great Armada. But they came anyway. A voice crackled through the coms. Captain Ramirez, we stand with you. Humanity fights for more than itself. Today, so do we. The crew felt their hearts burn. They were not alone. The battle began. The Galactic Armada unleashed its fury, a storm of fire and light.
Ow.
The Indomitable shook as shields screamed, armor cracked, and systems overloaded. But it did not fall. It struck back, its cannons roaring. Carving holes through the endless tide, the smaller Allied ships darted through the chaos, striking and vanishing, supporting humanity with every desperate move. Many were destroyed, but none turned away. The battle raged for hours. The sky above Earth became a sea of wreckage, burning ships falling like dying stars. Inside, the Indomitable smoke filled the halls. Fires burned. Crew lay wounded, but still. They fought. Every man and woman aboard knew the truth. They were writing history. At the heart of the storm, Captain Alina stood unbroken. Her eyes burned with fire as she gave her final order. All power to the main guns. Aim for their command ship. End this. The Indomitable gathered its last strength. The great cannons glowed brighter than suns, every system pouring into one. Final strike. The shot tore through the void, a beam of pure destruction. It smashed into the Armada's flagship, ripping it apart in a single blinding flash. The enemy fleet froze. Order collapsed, and then they broke ships. Scattered, fleets fled. The united armada that had come to erase humanity now fled in terror of a single ship that refused to die. Silence fell across the stars. The Indomitable drifted, scarred, burning, but victorious. Earth was safe. Humanity had survived the impossible. Again, on the bridge, Captain Alina Ramirez whispered to herself. Though every crew member heard it, they came to erase us. Instead, we have written our name across the stars. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. No longer whispers of doubt, no longer whispers of fear, but whispers of legend. The humans had stood against the galaxy and lived. The humans had turned fear into respect. From that day on, the galaxy would remember a single truth. Humanity was here, and humanity was never to be underestimated again.